I'm always good for talking forever. That's very true. Half of your videos are probably cuts of me just talking nonsense. Like this one, like right now, actually.
Again, you have the Quick Trip coffee.
Yeah, you ever had it?
We have good coffee.
Best coffee in the area.
Actually, in high school, my dad would take me to Planet Fitness on the way to school. So school started at 7:45. We would leave the house at like 6. And we would stop at McDonald's, and it was $1.23 for each coffee, for a large.
Yeah.
Each.
I remember when McDonald's first came out with coffee and everyone was like, come on, McDonald's, stay in your lane. And very quickly, the coffee world was like, actually, it's pretty good.
It's genius, yeah. In the coffee, I like really dark coffee. Like, I don't want anything in it. I don't want it to be mostly water either.
Yeah.
And McDonald's had some pretty dark coffee. Maybe it was burnt, I don't know, but it's great. It tasted like a burnt tire, as it should.
Do you know the lighter coffees have more caffeine?
I do, because they're less processed.
I'm asking the guy who makes coffee. Of course you know this. That was just me sharing some piece of nugget of wisdom that I think is cool, but everyone's like, yeah, Caleb.
I do really like Ethiopian coffee, which is a lighter roast, generally. But I also like the flavor of burnt tire and tar,
Yeah.
which is distinctive of darker roasts.
I love coffee, but I'm also the guy, I'll drink any coffee. I don't need it to be like good or fancy coffee.
You're also a whiskey drinker, too.
I'm a whiskey drinker, yeah.
You like smoky, peated?
I want it to be like I'm tasting a campfire. Like if it doesn't taste like a campfire, then what's the point?
Yeah. Smoky, peated, single malt, Highway whiskeys.
Lafroig, Koala.
Lagavulin. Okay. What are we talking about? Wait, who are you? Who am I? I'm Second Slab. I'm Josh from Second Slab. I'm not Second Slab. I am Josh from Second Slab.
And I'm Caleb from the new channel called Drinking at the Climbing Gym. It's going to be great.
Which is funny because some gyms do sell alcohol, which is wild.
Yeah, they do. Usually, the ones that I've seen, they do specifically say, once you go in and have a drink, you're not allowed to climb again. But how are they monitoring that, really?
That is crazy.
So, I don't know. You've signed your life away on a waiver anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
If you fall, you fall. If you die, you die.
One of my favorite local pizza joints is Apogee.
Yeah.
And they also sell a bunch of beer. And I see a bunch of people finishing their climbs, going over, eating some pizza, having some beers.
Yep.
We're talking about gym etiquette today, though. And good gym etiquette would be to not drink and climb.
Hey, you brought it around. I like that.
Yes, exactly. I related it.
All right. Yeah, gym etiquette. There's a lot of weird rules out there, some written, some unwritten, and I think probably we'll focus a little bit on some of the unwritten rules because for newer climbers especially, sometimes it can be a little intimidating, a little confusing to figure out how things go or how things work and what's going to make other climbers look down upon me, what's going to make other climbers celebrate my amazing generosity and willingness to abide by unsaid rules. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit here today. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start off with, I think, one of the biggest, most obvious ones is called...
You gotta do the drop knee, kick flip, high bar, elbow bar, wrong foot. No, other foot. Wrong hand. No, you gotta bring your right hand up. Right hand up. That's your left hand. Yeah. You're getting closer. Yeah. No. Wrong hand, man. Dude, you just, hey.
Beta spraying. Beta, in case you didn't know, is sort of the way in which you climb a problem. Your beta is someone else's different beta. It's basically your solution to the problem. Beta spraying is when someone gives you unsolicited advice about that beta. So, half the fun of bouldering is figuring out the puzzle. And imagine if there's just someone leaning over your shoulder as you're doing a crossword and just telling you all of the answers to the crossword puzzle. That'd be super annoying. And that's what beta spraying is. Someone telling you how to climb as you're climbing, and generally, it's a bad thing. Don't do it. If they ask for help, then it's no longer spraying. Then it's just conversation.
Beta giving.
Beta giving, yeah.
And beta receiving.
Yep. So, yeah, I think that's a super important one and probably the most clear-cut one. Don't give people unsolicited advice. Yeah. What do you got? You got one?
Do I?
I don't know. It's you. Oh, here we go.
Hold on, whisper in my ear and then I'll share it.
Flashing someone else's project.
Oh, yes. That's actually super relevant.
What's super relevant? I don't know what you're talking about.
Especially if you are a really strong climber. It might be annoying to somebody if you walk up and just flash somebody's project.
Yeah.
Because that person's been working really hard to climb and potentially one day complete that boulder. And sometimes it feels really bad if you're working on something and then somebody comes over and just warms up on it.
Right.
It doesn't feel that good. But there are some ways that you can still climb somebody else's project. And, if you flash it or just send it for the day, that's okay. But there is sometimes this dialogue that I have in my head as I'm watching somebody else climb, that I really want to climb that boulder that they're working on and projecting, and I'll be sitting there and I'll be thinking, should I go climb it? I really want to climb it, but I don't want to make them feel bad. And there's some ways to navigate that. What do you think the best way is?
I think just being personable and asking. One of the great things about bouldering is it is really community driven, and that's one of the things that sucked me into it hard, because I'm not great with talking to strangers, but at the bouldering gym it was pretty easy. So honestly, if you see someone struggling on a problem, but it's a problem that you also want to try, and you fear that maybe you are good enough that you'll be able to flash it or do it easily and probably make them feel inadequate or bad, just be honest with them and say, hey, I've been wanting to try this problem for a while. Do you mind if I give it a shot? Chances are they're going to say no, go ahead. If they don't want to, this kind of leans into beta spraying a bit, because I guess flashing someone's project without talking to them first would be, to use my crossword analogy, the equivalent of just giving someone a fully filled out version of the crossword puzzle. Like, here you go. Like, so in this case, if they say, sure, climb it, if they don't want the answer, they'll probably kind of maybe just turn away or not look. I do that a lot of times when I'm trying to climb a problem and someone else just jumps right on it. I just kind of turn away and don't look, because I don't want that problem ruined for me necessarily. So yeah, that's probably the best way. Just ask them, hey, do you mind if I give this one a shot?
And if you don't have that internal dialogue in your head of, I'm scared that that person's gonna feel bad if I go climb that boulder, then honestly, like, that's okay too, because 10 out of 10, well, 9 out of 10 times, that person probably doesn't care.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And if they do care, they'll tell you, hopefully, or again, they'll turn away. So there you go. Easy. This is easy. We're fixing all sorts of people, aren't we? I'll actually touch on this one really quickly too. Along those same lines, you kind of alluded to it, but it is an interesting predicament to be in. Let's say that you've been trying to climb a problem for a while, and you can't get it, you're trying, you take a break, you come back, and when you come back, someone else is now on that problem, and they're trying and do it. Now you're in an awkward position where it's like, I was trying that in the past, now if I try it again and get it, it looks like I'm just intentionally trying to flash their project and show off in front of them, but really I've been doing it for a long time, and I now feel ready to try again. That can be kind of awkward too, and in that case, again, just talking with them, saying, hey, I was trying this one out earlier. You even maybe commenting on their climbing and say, you've done a few things that I wasn't thinking of, even if that's not true, lie to them, make them feel good. Like, you've done a few things that I wasn't thinking of, do you mind if I give this a try now that I'm warmed up or whatever? Just kind of letting them know that you're not intentionally being a jerk by just showing them how it's done. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of people who do that, and they don't know that you're not one of those people. So, all right. I can talk a lot, see, I told you. How's your voice doing?
You're doing all right. Congested is what my voice is doing.
All right, you want to talk about headphones?
Yeah, one of the ways that I like to fly under the radar at the climbing gym is I throw in my headphones, and that seems to be the universal sign to don't talk to me. Because as much as I love climbing in that it's a very social, communal sport, activity / hobby, whatever your mentality is about climbing, there are times when I like to just climb alone, not talk to anybody, just kind of crawl into a shell and go incognito. Yeah. And so I put in my headphones, and one of the things that sometimes is annoying is I have that mentality of, okay, I just want to do this thing alone, don't want to talk to anybody, have my headphones in, and then somebody's like, hey, what's up, man? Like, how you doing? How you doing, honey? And
you get that a lot? You get those how you doing, honeys?
Yeah, I just say, hey, I'm doing great. How you doing? Make some small talk, and I say, hey, it's been a long day, a long week. Maybe it hasn't been a long day, a long week, but I don't care. And I just say, just good to see you.
Yeah.
Put the headphones back in.
It's an interesting situation, honestly, because I personally know how difficult it is to just approach a stranger and talk to them. So the person who's sort of coming up to you and saying, like, and talking to you when you have your headphones in, they probably in their head were like building themselves up, like, I'm going to talk to this person, I'm going to talk to this person, I'm going to talk to this person. So it's really hard to me not be like, shut up, okay? I don't want to talk to you. So yeah, I think your idea of like engaging in small talk a little bit,
Yeah.
and who knows, maybe as the person who wears the headphones, I do the same thing whenever I want to be shut off from the world. Maybe actually engaging with a stranger and them having something to say is a change I want to make. Maybe I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to focus. Maybe actually I do want to engage with this person and spawn a new friendship or something like that. So, it's definitely really awkward. I do the same thing on like airplanes, and I specifically bring my huge giant over-ear headphones because I feel like with earbuds it's sometimes hard to see that someone has earbuds in. Like I've done that at a climbing gym. I'll start talking and then they turn their head and I realize, oh, they have earbuds in. Like, shit, sorry. And I'll acknowledge, be like, oh, sorry, I didn't really have headphones in, and usually they're fine with it. But on the airplane, I don't want to talk to anybody at all. I don't want to be forced into small talk for 2 hours, so I put on big giant headphones, and often they're not even on. I just put them on to like show people like I'm in my own little world here. So, or I'm listening to climbing podcasts, which feels like a weird reversal of sorts.
It's funny, I was listening to the Ologies podcast. Have you heard of that?
I have not.
Ologies, Ali Ward is the person who does that podcast, and she was talking about fear. And it seems like a lot of this gym etiquette has to deal with our fears as climbers. And one of the biggest fears that a lot of people have is social interaction. I can relate to that. I know you can relate to that.
Very much so, yeah.
And what's an appropriate way to approach somebody at the climbing gym? I know you made a video on it. Maybe I can put it up here if you want to check that out.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos of mine, actually, because it all comes from my own personal journey to try to talk to strangers at a gym. I made a very concerted effort at the beginning of this journey to like use it as an occasion to engage with strangers. That's something I've never been good at. I want to do it. I want to learn how to do it. So I intentionally did things at the climbing gym that would break me out of my comfort zone. And a lot of it is, I lead with compliments a lot of times. That's probably the biggest piece of advice is nobody's going to reject a compliment that's not creepy, I guess, but nobody's going to reject a compliment. So walking up to a stranger and just telling them, hey, that was a really cool move that you did. That was really, really cool. That's enough usually to get people start talking. Or if they are working on one of your projects that you want to work on, maybe if they fall or something, a line I like to use is, I was hoping you'd kind of figure that one out for me because I've been having trouble with that one too. And then you start just naturally engaging in a conversation about that particular problem. I mean, you're all here. The phrase I use a lot is you're climbing fake rocks on indoor walls. It's absurd. The whole concept of indoor climbing is absurd, and you're sharing in this absurdity. And so I think people are more than willing to sort of engage in that acknowledgement of that absurdity. So
yeah, and I'm terrible at reading social cues sometimes. But one of the things that I've realized is when I give somebody that compliment, if they start engaging in a conversation, then that's my cue to say, oh, I can continue engaging in this. But if they say, oh, yeah, thanks, man, and then just move on to the next thing, then that's the social cue I use to say, oh, they're just wanting to vibe alone, and that is A-okay.
I think I'm pretty confident, I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty confident that the amount of thought, I'll just say myself, the amount of thought that I put into engaging with people puts me somewhere on that spectrum, on the, I don't know how far left or right, but it feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it should be something that most people have to think through before they start talking to strangers, but oh well.
I have to think through it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right, next one, reading the routes. So there's reading routes for the purposes of your climbs, but also reading the routes for safety reasons. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the boulder behind us, there's a green one and a yellow one, and they kind of intersect like an X. And there's been plenty of times where I've been on a boulder and I start first and I start moving on it, and then somebody runs up to a boulder next to it, and then I realize, oh, our lines are about to intersect. That happens, and there's also on this same center boulder, there's some that go from, I guess, your right to up left, and you notice there's an arete in a complete blind corner.
Right, yeah.
And sometimes there's holds around the arete that you need to use, but sometimes there's also a climber on the other side, so you throw a heel around and then you end up kicking somebody, like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. And one of the ways that I've navigated that is just communicating.
Yeah.
If I'm the person who's on the wall first, I just say, hey, I noticed that you're on there, our boulders are gonna intersect. Let me finish this up really quick. Sorry. And I've never had a poor interaction or where somebody's like, oh, what the heck? And also other people have said that same thing to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, my bad, sorry, I didn't see that. I should have read the boulder a little bit better.
Yeah, in my people pleaser sort of self-deprecating manner, like the first thing, if two of us are on the wall and I notice they cross, I'll immediately be the one to jump off of. I'm a firm believer in like sending a boulder once is mostly luck, sending it twice is where you get skill. So if I'm almost ready to complete a boulder, I'm comfortable jumping down because I'm like, I gotta send it again anyway. So I'm always the first one. If I see things are crossing, I'll just jump down and just not even say anything to the person because I'm assuming the person didn't notice. And if they did notice and they still climbed, then they're a jerk and they probably not worth talking to anyway. So I'll immediately jump down. The other thing I also often do too is if where two people are going for the same problem, myself and someone else going for different problems that will intersect, so you're in that awkward situation in which you're kind of like looking at each other like who's gonna give. Sometimes I'll be the one to go first and I'll say something self-deprecating like, oh, don't worry, I'm gonna fail on this real quick. And so like that way it's like, hey, you won't be waiting long, I promise, kind of thing. And that usually even opens up conversation too, just saying something self-deprecating, people can usually appreciate that, I think. I don't know.
Or relate to it.
Or relate to it very much, yeah.
If I'm trying to queue up for a boulder at the same time when somebody else is, a lot of times they'll say, oh no, you go first, I can use more rest anyway, something like that.
I do that a lot, yeah, because I'm notoriously bad at resting, and so if someone's forcing me to rest, then it's a good thing. So yeah, I do that a lot with parents too, like parents and kids, because you see that a lot in gyms where the kids they've been told the rules, of course, but they're freaking kids. They're not gonna they're not gonna remember. And also, you're in a room full of colorful, bright holes, the things that you can climb on. A kid's not gonna remember all of the rules and everything. So I'm usually pretty forgiving. But parents, they're just kind of watching, and they're maybe watching multiple kids, or or they're not climbers themselves. So sure, they've heard the introduction tour and they've heard the rules, but they haven't really been in a position to put them in practice. So they're not like in their heads. So I kind of try to also acknowledge the parents as well sometimes. So if a kid is like jumps out in front of me and the parents like, oh, I'm sorry, and then they start like yelling at their kid or something, I'm like, no, it's fine, I need to rest anyway, don't worry about it. And generally kids are so, my experience anyway is, again, the colorful holds are everywhere. They're probably not going to be on that problem very long. They're probably going to give it like 1 or 2 tries and then immediately zip over to something else. So, waiting a few extra seconds is just fine.
What is gym etiquette when a kid is climbing right underneath you or walking underneath you? Because I know I've accidentally kicked a kid in the face.
Well, the original etiquette would be, hey kid, don't climb underneath someone, obviously. But that's not the case. If you're already up on the wall and a kid starts climbing up underneath you, if I'm already on the wall and I look down, there's a kid below me, I don't hesitate to be a little stern and tell the kid, you need to move, I might fall. Even if their parents are there, it's like in that situation where there's imminent danger, I don't mind kind of being a bit of a jerk and saying, you need to move, I might fall, I don't want to hurt you, that sort of thing. If they're about ready to climb on the hold, I'll still be a little bit stern, but also as fellow climbers, we should be watching other people and we should be watching for this as well. And if we see a kid that's starting to approach a dangerous situation, even if the parent's there, as the climber, you should be comfortable saying, hey, you need to not be there. And then you could even turn to the parent, just be like, hey, I just don't want that person to fall on that person, because sometimes parents can get a little defensive about strangers talking to their children. Generally speaking, they're great, they're fine at gyms, parents don't want their kids hurt either. But talking directly to the kid, being a little stern is usually enough. I've never been in a situation where a kid is just like, screw you, old man, and just did it anyway. That's never happened. They might be thinking it, but they've never said it. So yeah, that's what I would suggest, yeah.
I try to, similar to what you said, be stern if there's imminent danger, which I guess climbing is an innately dangerous sport, but if imminently about to fall on somebody, very stern, but also holding a lot of grace for younger climbers because they're probably really overwhelmed in a brand new experience. And I love to see new climbers climbing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of the point of this channel, is to get as many people climbing as possible. And kids are really fun to hang out with. And they love debate spray, man.
They love it. My kid, when my youngest kid used to climb a little bit, and when he first started, he was starting to get pretty good, and he knew he was getting pretty good, and he would whisper over to me, he's like, it's so hard for me not to tell that person over there to like not do this, or I want to go up there and tell them. It's sort of cringy watching this person climb. And I had to correct him and be like, that's not the right attitude, man. They're trying, they're new, they're brand new to this. You looked exactly like that when you first started and stuff. And so it's a learning experience for any kid that's wanting to climb. But they're fun. They're fun.
And a lot of people like to figure out the problems themselves and learn by their failures. And that's how a lot of people build technique. Similar to your crossword analogy, sometimes you learn by putting in the wrong thing, and then later on you're like, oh, it's actually this other thing. It's like a big puzzle. What bouldering is. I love it.
That's the main thing I love about bouldering, actually. All right, last one. Queuing. How do you go? Let's imagine the gym is super crowded. So there's potentially lots of people waiting for a single problem. How do you announce that you are in line, or what is the etiquette around a queuing system?
It really just depends on where you go. At this particular bouldering gym, usually just communication, saying like, hey, I want to work on this problem, especially if 2 people go together. You can just communicate to them, and similar to what we were talking about earlier, you can say, oh, hey, you got this, I needed some more rest anyway, or maybe the other person insists that you go first, and you're like, okay, cool, I'll hop on this, don't worry, I'll fall. We're all gonna fall, it's okay.
I find, it's weird. There's subtle interactions that I think alert people. So first of all, to Josh's point, there's no official way that all gyms are like, this is universally how you get in line for a boulder. You kind of just have to read the room. One of the things that I've noticed a lot of people doing is they will kind of step up. So you might have observers standing sort of off of the pad, but then the people who actually want to climb, they'll kind of be standing on the pad a little bit. And that's not a hard and fast rule, but it's a pretty good indication that if someone's standing on the pad, that they want to climb. And if I'm standing on the pad and I want to climb, I'll generally kind of look at the exact problem I'm going to climb, rather than sort of looking around and trying to avoid eye contact as much as possible, like I normally do. I'll make sure I'm staring right at the problem that I want to climb. That way, if anybody else is sort of testing and looking like, is that guy going to climb next? They kind of know that I have a mission. Also, starting to put chalk on your hands early shows people that, okay, I'm going to do something right. I'm going to get on this boulder. And then if two people go for it at the same time, it's almost always oh, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. So one of you just goes. There's not like anything, I've heard stories of people putting like their shoes, like taking one shoe off and like putting it on like the pad. I've never seen that myself, but I've heard stories of people kind of doing that to be like, hey, I'm next. Very similar to like in the old like arcades and like pool halls and stuff where people would have a quarter and they'd kind of put it down to let people know, hey, I've got next. There's not really a system like that. There should be, I think, but there's not.
Or a pickleball paddle. Put the pickleball paddle on the boulder.
Yeah, bring in your pickleball paddle to the bouldering gym.
Now, Caleb, I bring my toothbrush to the gym. What do you suppose that's for?
I imagine you're probably using it to brush holds.
You can smell my breath, so you know it's not for brushing teeth.
Actually, you don't want to use toothbrushes to brush holds. You want a boar hair brush.
Yeah.
An official boar hair brush. I don't know why. Why can't you use toothbrushes? You probably could, right? There's probably no reason not to.
Pretty sure my toothbrush is boar hair.
Ew. I think the only kind of brush you can't use is like a wire brush because that would deteriorate the holds. But anyway, the point being, brushing holds, that's good etiquette. In fact, one of the pieces of good etiquette I would say that I personally never do and I never see anyone else doing is when you're done climbing a problem, it's good to just give it a quick brush, basically prepare it for the next climber. I know that's a lot to ask because nobody does that and that might be overkill in terms of brushing, but hey, if you have time and you need to force yourself to rest, go ahead and brush someone else's hold. That'd be or brush the holds after you get off the wall. That'd be kind of nice. Alternatively, if you see someone brushing a hold, that's a good indication that they are getting ready to climb that. So don't jump on a problem that you see someone else brushing. If they're brushing it and they turn around and go back toward their stuff, they're probably going back to their stuff to put their brush down so they can return to the problem. So yeah, don't jump on it. Unless they're just being nice and they're like, hey, I'm just brushing this for you. Then high five them and become best friends.
Let me recapitulate what you just said. That's a word. Isn't that long form for recap? Isn't
oh my
recap
God, you're probably right.
I don't know.
I think so.
It might be.
You finish this out. I'm going to look this up.
Okay. I'm curious now. That word just popped in my head. So he's going to look it up.
Recap, short for, it looks, yes, recap is a shortened version of the word recapitulate.
I don't know why I knew that. Small bit of potpourri.
So would recapacitate mean to add a head back to a body? To decapacitate? Or no.
Isn't that incapacitate?
No, okay, what's decapitate?
Decapitation.
Recapitate, would that be to reapply the head? That sounds like an awesome band name. Recapitate.
It's like one of those hard rock Christian bands. Recap for God.
We're coming like back alive. Like, yeah, I could see that. I can see that.
Which I guess Jesus wasn't beheaded. No. But some of his followers were beheaded. So maybe.
You know the Bible better than I do, man. If someone said that Jesus was decapitated, I'd be like, no, probably. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
No, he was stabbed in the side with a spear. Oh no, he was hanging on a cross.
Yeah. His head was probably still on.
Yep.
I would guess. I haven't seen the photos, but I
should probably cut this out. I don't know what I was saying. I was supposed to say something. Oh yeah, recap. I got distracted because I wanted to see.
You could just fast forward the video and like have it in like text that's just like 5 minutes of nonsense.
I'm congested.
Don't climb somebody.
Yeah, don't climb somebody. Don't climb somebody.
That's also an etiquette rule.
Don't climb something somebody just brushed because they're probably about ready to climb on it. But also you should brush your holds after you're done climbing it. So then you go brush it and nobody else climbs that boulder for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you own that hold now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You bone that hold now.
You bone
Well, now I was going to say something.
Bone it with a boar hairbrush.
Now it's going to sound even dirtier, but I was going to say like the whole idea of you like maybe you're being nice and you brush someone else's hold so that they can climb. If you brush yourself, is that you like flirting with them? Like, well, climb on.
Climb on.
Climb on.
Climb on.
Don't do that.
That's how I started dating the camera woman.
I would climb on. I would climb on.
I started brushing. I flexed my calf muscle a little bit. Started brushing my teeth.
She's saying yes. She's nodding vigorously.
I started brushing my teeth and then we started kissing.
With your boar hairbrush.
With my boar hairbrush. Very chalky. Actually, you know what? You know how people put, it's not formaldehyde in their mouth. It's definitely not formaldehyde.
No, that's the preservative. It's the stuff they put in the water too. That begins with an F though, you're right. Fungicide.
No.
Farts.
No.
Falafel.
No.
People put falafel in their mouth. They do.
That's true.
It's really good.
I don't know if you know what we're talking about.
Nobody knows what you're talking
Yeah, the
Fluoride. It's
fluoride, yeah.
Fluoride. Freaking fluoride.
Yeah, they do that. Where are you going with
What
that?
about fluoride? Yeah.
Maybe, because fluoride is supposed to whiten your teeth. And chalk is white. Maybe
You could brush your teeth with chalk.
brush your teeth with chalk.
That's another video idea. Let's do a whole morning of choosing chalk. So we brew chalk as like a coffee. Then we brush our teeth with chalk.
Our next bit should be, is it cheese curd or is it chalk?
They both taste squishy, probably.
Yeah.
I had cheese curds for the first time.
Squeegee. They both taste
Squeegee. I had cheese curds for the first time in Wisconsin over the weekend. Very good.
Oh, you went to that one place.
Yeah, I went to Interstate State Park for bouldering, and then we went to Barn Bluff for ropes climbing, and they were both fantastic.
Yeah.
And the cheese curds, good.
They had cheese curds at the climbing gym.
Yep, you climbed them.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Chalk review, but it's what chalk is the tastiest.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, we need to do these skits.
Alright, stop this video.
All right.
Well, that was,
I think hopefully people learned some stuff, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And if not, just a refresher for many people, because I've been climbing for a few years now, and it's good to have a refresher.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you disagree with any of these etiquette rules, tell us in the comments below. If you have other etiquette rules, tell us in the comments below. Or if your gym handles things differently. Maybe your gym has a pro kicking kids in the face rule. I don't know. Probably not. I hope not. Geez, that would be terrible. If you do, though, tell me. I want to see this gym.
Send a link to your video.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that's probably it. Anything else that we missed, do you think?
I don't think so.
No?
Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. This video is brought to you by
Beta Break, the best card game in the world. Duh. It'd really be best etiquette if you went out and bought a copy of Beta Break. Go to betabreakgame.com. That's actually the only universal etiquette rule of all climbing gyms, is you have to buy a deck of Beta Break cards and play Beta Break at your climbing gym. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them.
I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on Magic the Gathering, and I should have just went and bought a deck of Beta Break. Would have solved
Yeah.
all my financial issues.
A single deck of Beta Break is tens of thousands of dollars. Oh wait, no, you're saving tens of thousands by buying Beta Break. I get it now. Yeah, it's not.
You know, save $10,000 by buying Beta Break.
You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
Just give them.
Yeah, just give me $10,000, dude.
I bet you could get a lot of Beta Break cards.
Several decks,
Yeah.
I would say.
For $10,000, you get like,
Do the math. Carry the one.
carry the one.
Divide by.
Hold on, 40.
Is he gonna do it? Is he really gonna do
You
it?
could buy 400 Beta Break decks.
That's probably right. I don't know. I'm not a math guy. That's probably
400.
right. Is that 25 times 400 is 10,000?
I did 25 times 4
Okay.
times 10
This is riveting content.
times another 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You could buy 75,000 decks of Beta Break cards for $10,000.
That is untrue.
I carried the one too far. All right.